If Ian Garry beats Islam Makhachev, I will commit. Now, to be honest, I mildly dislike Ian Garry, which might make you think that ending it all over someone that you mildly dislike is an overreaction. Just like MMA Guru,
I fucking hate my life!
Like and subscribe. On the 15th of August, Ian Garry is going to have his first chance at a UFC belt in what might be one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC currently. And in between calling child services on fellow fighters to thin out the division, Ian found himself building a decent career of wins against high-level competition. And when I think about Ian, it is a bit unfortunate because I feel like if it wasn't for some of the things that happened to him outside of the ring, he would actually be one of the biggest fan favourites in the UFC. Now, even though Ian has done some actually messed up things, which we're going to speak about later, but by far, the worst reason Ian Garry receives hate online is because of his wife. Now, I'm not going to hate against an unconventional marriage, but I personally do believe that from what we've seen publicly of his wife, she is a bit of a horrible person. Take this clip for example.
My wife just looks at me and goes, "You're a pussy." We got in the elevator and me and my wife were standing there, pressed the button, doors open, Kamzat and his missus. I'd love to have a fight here. I'd love to just swing hands with Kamzat in the middle of an elevator. And my missus like that, looking at me like her eyes popped out of her fucking skull. And she's like, "Do it, like have a fight with him." In my head, I'm like, my teammate's about to fucking fight him tomorrow. I'm not fucking ruining that. Also, there's two fucking women in here. Me and him are gonna go to the death if we fight in an elevator. We step out with the lift and my wife just looks at me and goes, "You're a pussy."
Now, encouraging a fight between two professional fighters in a confined space with the other fighter's wife being present is genuinely some gross behavior. On top of the fact that this was a couple days before Khamzat's fight, so he was almost surely cutting weight, which would have made him extra depleted and vulnerable at the time. And I can't even make the excuse that she didn't know, because she's married to a fighter. She was willing to ruin a fight on a UFC card with one of Ian's teammates, her safety, Ian's safety, Khamzat and his wife's safety, all for what? Just to be slightly entertained. And generally speaking, there are quite a few red flags when it comes to their relationship. For example, there's a pretty decent age gap between the two, and that's only usually a problem if one person is trying to manipulate the other. And it feels like a lot of Ian Garry's thoughts and opinions aren't really his. Like for instance, Ian's insistence on expressing his feminine side.
I'm so in touch with my feminine side that I feel like I'm more masculine because of it. And I don't care what people think about me. I don't care about people's opinions of me or what I do. I love who I am.
And ironically, his wife imposing her will onto him is a pretty masculine thing to do.
And I wonder whether that's why Layla is so significant in your life, because she has arrived as your cheerleader.
She's my earth angel. She is my earth angel. She is the person who, when I need guidance, I go to her. And I feel like any smart man in the world should look at his wife and know that that's the person I need to listen to. Like if the world was run by women, we'd all live in a better world.
Now, shout out to Ian Garry for making a heterosexual relationship sound pretty gay. When it comes to the worst thing that I've seen Ian Garry do, for me, there's only one thing that stands out. And that's when he fabricated claims that a UFC fighter was abusing their children. At UFC 292, Ian Garry went up against Neil Magny, and Neil Magny said this.
Fighting a guy who's undefeated, a younger opponent, whatever else you can name it. I've been there, done that kind of thing. So he should have all the confidence in the world. He should feel like he's come in there and have a great night. It's up to me to go out there and like literally show him like, no, you made a huge mistake. Got a lot of growing to do. Put a beating on him. I mean, there's like, there's almost like different levels to afterwards that come out. There's the whooping that you give somebody in high school, like, or in grade school. So when he tough on my mom and you put the beat him on there, and there's a whooping that you give your son now, like to kind of teach him life a little bit. And being a father, I've become quite accustomed to that kind of whooping now, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to giving on Saturday. I mean, I know.
Now, Ian took this to mean that Neil Magny is actually abusing his children, and made that incredibly clear when they had their press conference together. Even Neil Magny himself tried to explain to Ian that you're twisting my words.
Curious what you thought when you heard those comments.
I think Neil was given a fucking mic yesterday and he should sit up here on the stage and say nothing. He put his fucking foot in the dirt. If he speaks today, he's going to be digging a hole. Nobody is allowed to ask Neil Magny a question today. He's to sit there and reflect on the shit that he said because what he said was fucking ridiculous.
Why do you feel so strongly about it?
Did you watch the clip?
Yes.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
So you heard word for word what came out of that man's mouth?
Yes, I believe he said he was going to...
We are tackling a very, very big fucking issue here, mate. And he should sit there and fucking sit down, shut up, and just reflect on what he said.
I will have to go to Neil. Neil, I'm curious what you think when you hear this.
No. Neil's not answering a question. He's gonna sit there and he's gonna be fucking quiet. Nobody, there is no fucking right to ever put your hand on a kid, ever discipline anything.
You want to play victim so bad, bro.
Mate, you're a father. You never lay your fucking hands on a child ever.
You know exactly the same man. You know for a fact I'll never put a hand on a child.
Yesterday you said I'm a father. I've been accustomed to that type of beating.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm going to whoop that ass on Saturday.
You can play
you'll do
all you
fucking
want.
nothing. You'll sit there, you'll shut up, and you'll do what you're told.
Now, this had an actual impact on Neil Magny's life and caused issues with how often he could see his kids as a result of what Ian said. And I feel like this is something that Ian doesn't get enough hate for. And the general consensus online is that the worst thing he's done is just be a cuck and to be slightly annoying. But it seems like him being annoying or having an odd relationship is the main reason why he gets so much hate online, as opposed to some of the genuine horrible stuff he's done. Now, for the upcoming fight against Makhachev, I honestly don't think Ian's gonna win, especially with him losing to Shavkat the way he did. I feel like there's just too much of a gap between Islam Makhachev's skill set and how Ian Garry fights. So I do think that Islam is going to retain his belt this coming Saturday, but we all know what I'm going to do if Ian Garry does win.